Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about Corona, even though we don't want to, and how it has changed sports science, probably indefinitely. Well, some things haven't changed. My daily routine still starts pretty much the same way. I get up, brush my teeth, and do the following.
Yes.
Since 2020, all over the world, there's been some level of restrictions regarding this pandemic. And we've had to learn, adapt, and grow. And sports science itself, as a job, always knew that it was going to go digital eventually. And suddenly, it was entirely online. And we've learned some things. But in the meantime, we're still wearing masks, right? And we're still washing our hands and still carrying around Purell and hand sanitizers like it's crack, and it's probably worth more than crack at this point. One of the major things that's changed for me as a sports scientist is I used to have my athletes for longer. So when we're on the pitch, I can work with 2 athletes, and when I'm in the strength and conditioning room, I can work with 1. But I still have to get all of the athletes trained, assessed, analyzed. So that takes a lot more time. So for me personally, what my day-to-day looks like is I have some level of Zoom trainings or FaceTime trainings even, where we pop in our headphones. I've definitely invested in a good pair of Bluetooth headphones, tried out multiple ones through this pandemic, and finally found one so I can have it on the phone, I can watch my athlete training, and I got it in my ear. If we're not doing it live, then we're definitely doing it over video, and I'm getting videos sent to me live so that I can check in with my athlete because I'm not there to adjust and cue and coach them. So that's the best we can get without it being live in real time. As far as my teams, we still do Zoom trainings online. I had to get really, really good at figuring out how to use a backpack, trying to get everybody bands, knowing that people are gonna have weight. So what kind of soup cans can you use that give you some kind of weight? How can we use a towel on the floor in order to make our exercises effective to get some kind of load? And it's not just the exercises themselves, right? Anybody can think up a workout at home. But how do I prepare athletes to perform at any point with 2 weeks notice? Because last year when we had a restart, we literally had 2 weeks to go from Zoom trainings and being stuck at home to being fit and on the pitch without destroying everybody's life. But it came down to ultimately what we were packing in those home trainings, how we were managing load, still having to manage volume, and trying to put some actual weight in there for these athletes who can pull 200, 250 pounds, no problem. Now we're deadlifting using a backpack. As soon as we went into lockdown, for the athletes who knew that they were going to most likely have a restart at some point, and we are again in another phase of that right now, we have been doing a lot of sprinting just because we can't get enough load anywhere else and we don't want to do a ton of volume. So maximal sprinting, and max effort plyos like jumps, throws, those kinds of things have been really helpful in keeping our athletes fit and injury resistant. One positive thing that I've seen that's changed is the focus on recovery. Sure, there's a lot of stress and there's different kinds of stresses, so we've had to learn how to adapt to that as well, but recovery has become more of a focus in the athletes that I've trained because now they have the time and now they have the resources to cook for themselves. They have the time to do that. They have the time to go to bed from here until here. The problem that poses, of course, is discipline. The athletes tend to lose, and I as well as a sports scientist tend to lose my discipline the longer we go on with having nothing change during this pandemic. But it's really been over the long term, the discipline of I'm not motivated at all, and yet I still have to continue to do this. Why? And getting really creative with, how much do you believe in that why? Because now you're absolutely not motivated at all, and neither am I. I don't want to do another Zoom training. This is my 8th one this week, and I don't feel like coaching my ass off in front of you with a camera between us. That sucks. And additionally, athletes have had time to do some mental skills training as well, which I will always see as being a huge benefit. And as a neuroscientist, I tend to pick up tricks, skills, hacks, I hate that word, to help my athletes specifically control their stress, be able to sleep better, etc. So that kind of plays into the recovery aspect. But hopefully athletes who have been working with sports psychologists or not have been also able to focus a little bit on their mental skills training because we have the time. We're not allowed to do too much else. I already mentioned load management and short-term planning several times, but I want to dive into that a little bit more. I'm going to insert a clip on how I do load management or our wellness questionnaire with my athletes, but that is really, really, really important for us to know what athletes are doing outside of training because we're not one-to-one, face-to-face anymore. We're not seeing each other every day, and they can bullshit me better from far away. And so I want to know, honestly, still, and I have a good relationship with my athletes, so that's no problem. I still want to know, how are you doing? How's stress? How's sleep? How's your pain? How's your soreness? And those are the primary things that we're measuring.
Wellness Questionnaire, erste Frage ist, wie geht's euch so allgemein? 0 bis 10. 10 ist, mir geht's super. 0 ist, mir geht's richtig, richtig scheiße. Schlafqualität, Quantität, so allgemein 10. Hab super geschlafen. Bin immer so ganz erfreut aufgestanden am nächsten Tag. Dritte Frage ist Schmerz, nicht Muskelkater, sondern Schmerz. 10 ist, mir geht's tippitoppi. Und wie geht's euch eigentlich mit Muskelkater diese Woche? 10 ist nix, mir geht's gut. 0 ist fiese Muskelkater. Stress. 10, bin null gestresst. 0, ich bin sau gestresst. Ich muss jeden Tag Klausur schreiben.
So load management is essential because, like I said, we're spending a lot of time apart. I'm not sure if they're doing extra training sessions on the side. I'm not sure if they're even doing all the training sessions that I gave them, let alone doing extras. I'm not sure if they're sleeping at all or if they're staying up all night. So load management is really, really important because, of course, there's other stress like pandemic, like being at home stuck with your family. A lot of people, like money, like having to be homeschooled and stuff like that when you have exams coming up. So stuff is really tough, and load management is a really important part of making sure that we are reducing the risk of injuries as long and as best as we possibly can, because I don't want them to be injured while we're not playing. And of course, the last thing is the programming. Periodization has been definitely stretching my knowledge as a coach because I can't have my athletes primed and ready to go forever, but I also can't have them doing maximal strength work forever if we have 2 weeks to turn around into full fitness and be able to play soccer or football or swim or cheerleading again. Last but not least, something that this pandemic has taught us is that direct communication is really everything. Anytime my athletes send me their wellness questionnaire and their values are low, meaning that they're highly stressed, meaning that they haven't slept well, etc., I'm checking in on them. And I want to consistently check in on them. The problem is we used to do this in person, and I could tell by their facial expression and by their body expression how they were doing, how they looked, how they were feeling. And now I have to do this per video. I have to see how they're moving per video. I have to talk to them on the phone or per WhatsApp, and we can't see each other live. And that can be really difficult, but that's still the best, still keeping up the relationship that I have with my athletes and actually getting their feedback, seeking their feedback, and allowing them to be integrated into the process of Zoom trainings and building the playlists for the strength and conditioning room. We've gotten creative. The pandemic has taught us a lot. I hope this was helpful for you, or maybe just explanatory. I don't even know. But sports science has changed a lot in Corona, and I think if we don't take these lessons with us from the Corona times, I think we will have wasted a lot of time, and that'll really be a shame. So there's definitely things that I'm gonna take with me from this time. I'll also be glad when I can train all of my athletes again at once and close Zoom and not make it my best friend and most used app anymore. Thank you so much. Okay, that was it. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe learned something. I don't know. But that is sports science in times of Corona. See you next time.